Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping your clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or coming to the gym a few hours a week. We, as gym owners and coaches, have to focus on a holistic approach, looking at support systems, stress management, sleep, mindset, lifestyle, and of course, exercise and nutrition. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching, CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to make one step at a time to becoming the best nutrition coach and building an awesome habit-based coaching program.
All right, let's get to today's podcast guest. His name is Rob. He is the founder and owner of All Fit Orlando, but he hasn't always been a gym owner. His background is actually in the military. He was a combat medic for the Marines. He has his own journey with weight loss. Rob has lost 100 pounds. He understands firsthand experience how important nutrition and accountability is, in addition to someone's fitness journey to help them reach their health and wellness goals. I'm so excited that Rob came on the podcast to share his story of how he went from no nutrition program 1 year ago to now bringing in on average $15,000 a month on nutrition. Holy cow. Yes, of course, that's a lot of revenue, but more importantly, it's the impact that he's making. It's the lives that he's changing. I am so inspired by his story. In fact, last year at our in-person summit, his gym and his team won the Rising Star Award. Our team unanimously voted for his team because we knew they were on fast track progress to make a huge impact in their community. I truly hope that you enjoy this podcast with Rob. We'll get to it right after this message. Are you looking to turn an informal conversation about nutrition into a comprehensive nutrition program so that you can support your members and make a greater impact in your community? Did you know that HSN Mentoring has a turnkey solution for gym owners and coaches, providing you the business systems, marketing support, nutrition coach certification and training, app to manage your clients, and most importantly, ongoing mentoring to help you support and grow your nutrition business? All you need to do is click the link in the show notes to see how it works, and the owner can book a call with me so that you can learn more about HSN and we can see if it's the right fit for you. Now, if you have a coach that is excited to potentially be your nutrition coach, have them jump on that call too so that we can all be a part of the conversation. Gym owners are required to be on those free calls. I hope you enjoy this podcast with Rob. Rob, I am so excited to have you on the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I am excited to be here and talk with you today.
I can't believe it has been a little tiny bit over a year and a week since we first met. And wow, the journey that you have come in the past year. I feel like our audience, we just need to start there. Like, introduce yourself. Where are you from? Talk to me a little bit about where you were a year ago and how we are sitting here today.
Okay, well, thank you, Nicole. I am Robert Schwartz. I am the owner and founder of All Fit Orlando. Obviously, we're in Orlando, Florida, and we've been in business a little over 5.5, actually more 5.75 years. We're going to be turning 6 here in April, so very close to 6 years. And I met Nicole a little over a year and a few weeks ago. And after our first conversation, she probably thought I was biting off a lot and I was probably crazy because a year ago, the best starting point is to tell you the first 4 or 5 years of business, maybe a lot of gym owners can relate to this, right? I was a trainer. I worked in all the different levels, right? Big box, little box, boutique gyms. And, after years and years of working for other people, I found an opportunity. I says, you know what, it's finally time to open up my own place. And like a lot of gym owners, the first thing that I did was I'm going to open up my own place and I'm going to charge less than everybody else. And that's going to be my hook, right? I'm going to be the best price out there. And I actually think my unlimited memberships were $69 a month. when I first opened up All Fit Orlando. And like most gym owners out there will probably relate to as well, you can only do that for so long. Next thing you know, you've got people, but you're not making any money. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. So then you start going into this. Okay, well, I'm going to raise my prices a little bit, but my goal is to get to 100 members, 120 members. That's what I need, and that will change everything. And then slowly but surely, you start building and building and building and building. And guess what? I got to almost 120 members. It still doesn't make any more money, right? Because the more people you bring into your gym, the more people you have to bring to service it, the more your expenses. And so as your top end grows, so does your bottom end. And so those margins never change. And I had an epiphany. It was December, and I was sitting there, and my wife and I had our annual look at what our year was and where we want to go. And it was really hard to admit, but I had gotten to a place with my business that I realized that I wasn't doing with it what I really wanted to do, right? You set out to change lives, number one, right? Change lives and help people. And in that process, you also want to change your life and help yourself. And so I was looking at just the overall how I was doing on those two metrics, right? Was I helping people? Ish. I was providing fitness, and that's great. I have, just like every other gym owner will tell you, I got a great community, right? Everybody's got a great community, right? We have the best community. Sure. I had a great community, great people who followed and supported us. But I wasn't getting people the results that I really wanted to get them in the group environment solely with what we were offering in our gym. And then in turn, because like I just talked about, as you go up, this goes up, this goes up, this goes up, I also wasn't making the money personally that I wanted to make for myself and for my family. And so I went to the drawing board and I said, what can I do? I've been trying to compete on price. I've been trying to build this amazing community, but none of it's working. And the first step in my process was I had to change gym management software. The company that I was using, I'm not going to badmouth any companies on a podcast, but the company that I was using just wasn't doing it for me. The people didn't understand me and what I was trying to do. The customer service was horrible. The reporting and data was not where I needed it to be. And then the end user experience was not great. So I found Push Press, and I was very lucky to get to speak to Nick Reyes. He was the first point of contact that I had at Push Press. And if any of you have ever spoken to Nick, the guy is phenomenal, right? Like, not only does he have a great personality, but his knowledge of the business, what he's done with his own personal business and how he's grown was just amazing. And to connect with somebody at a software management company who got me, who understood my situation, and then to find out that literally everybody that works at Push Press also owns gyms or has been there, it was absolutely simply refreshing for me. So, okay, let's take in Push Press. So next thing I take into Push Press, it's great, it's wonderful, but that doesn't solve all my problems, right? I needed more. So Nick said, I go and open up the Push Press and I see this little thing that says HSN integration. I was like, what is this HSN, right? So I look into it, and then I reach out to Nick. I was like, tell me about this HSN, because I've done nutrition before. We've tried to bring in nutrition before. And here it is, right? Again, not going to badmouth any other companies, but other nutrition, it lacks in so many different ways, right? It's either it gets you through challenges, but there's no continuing support, or they run the challenges for you, and then you're taken out of the equation, so there's no compliance for you and your staff, and it was just, or it's restrictive and unrealistic and unsustainable and maintainable for your client base. So Nick said, look, trust me, HSN is where it's at. You got to talk to Nicole. She's great. So I did, right? I got on a call with you.
Yeah.
And everything that you said to me made absolute 100% sense. It was almost like a light bulb to me. Nicole told me about, adding value to my membership by really helping people get results. And the foundation of getting people results, regardless of goal and starting point, is nutrition, right? But it's not just having nutrition. It's about having nutrition that makes sense for each person, that is simple, that is maintainable, sustainable, replicatable across the board, and focuses on more than just the numbers, that focuses on the person as a whole, right? Change comes from the inside out. So if we don't address the problems that got us to where these people are coming in and asking for our help, we're only touching the surface of that change, that transformation. So thanks to Nicole and HSN, I was able to add this amazing nutrition program. But the reason why she thought I was crazy is because when I met Nicole, I was already planning a challenge.
Yeah. Like a week
So
or two later.
yeah, so the challenge was I was already marketing and advertising the challenge. And because it's January, right? Everybody runs a challenge in January.
Right.
And so I get on the call, Nicole, I was like, Nicole, remember, I was like, Nicole, so all right, we're going to do this, but I've got a challenge coming up in 2 weeks. Do you think I can get there? And you said, you crazy, but you could do it. So yeah, so me and my coach, Caitlin, I brought another girl who's been on my staff for a while on board with me. And I told her, I called her up, I said, hey, we're going to do this. And she's like, okay. I said, we need to do this. It's going to be great. And so we went through all the HSN material. I probably spent 6 hours a day going through the course load because I cleared my whole schedule. I'm like, I have to go through this because I have to be ready to launch this challenge. Admittedly, it definitely wasn't the most organized challenge. Like the challenge that I'm running here in January is like we're on it, right? But this first it was a little bit, but what I noticed immediately was people came to me and said, "Wow, this is so much better than anything that you've done before. This makes sense. This makes sense to me. This is something that I can do." But one thing that I really love about it is that they would say to me, "This isn't just something that I can do, but I can do this with my spouse. My mom needs to eat better. And this is stuff that I could get her to do because I can explain it to her. It's not when people think nutrition, they think weighing and they think restriction and they think calculations and all kinds of craziness that I mean, sure. Does that work to an extent? Absolutely, right? There's a science behind it. But for the masses, for the whole, for general everyday people, if you don't give them things that are very simple, or as we like to say, low hanging fruit, small, simple changes they can make that have lasting results, they're not going to stick with it. And that's what I saw in my own program, right? 5 years. And this is what I saw in my member base. I would call it skinny season and fluffy season, right? Uh, and it's true. And I'm sure that most gym owners can equate to this, right? Especially, you know, in places where you have all 4 seasons. In Florida, it's like always beach season. So our fluffy season is only really December through mid-February.
Maybe.
But maybe if that, right? You're a little further south than I am. But the point is that, you know, I would see my clients on this annual roller coaster, right? Restrictive, craziness, doubling up on classes, beating themselves to get to a certain look, and then they would whoop, and then oh, okay. Then they would do it again. And then they get better and whoop, flop back up. So that was one of the best things that HSN and nutrition has done for our program is not just adding more success and adding more value to what we're doing in our gym, but it also helped our members get to like a place where they can find peace, right? Where they don't feel like they always have to restrict their favorite foods or do 2-a-days or not go out and have a good time with their friends and just gonna sip this water and eat a salad because you know I gotta be in a bathing suit tomorrow. Like they know now through the education and the training that we've given them for the last year plus that that's not what we want to do. That's not a way to be long-term healthy mentally, physically, emotionally from the inside out. So um yeah, that was like the light bulb for me. And then from there, it was just a continued quest for more knowledge. And I think that what I learned from Nicole, most importantly, something that I had to come to grips with as a gym owner, was that I had to be coachable, right? And I think that's something that we all struggle with. Some of you out there listening might say to yourself, well, I don't need a coach. I'm great at what I do. You know what? And you are. Everybody is great at what they do. And if you have a gym and it's profitable and you have a great community, congratulations to you. That's great. But we're coaches, right? And don't we spend our day telling people the value of having a coach and a mentor and somebody that's at a different place in the process that can help you go from where you are now to where they are and beyond? So coming to that realization as a business owner that, hey, I need a coach. I need somebody to look at my business from the outside in and show me things that I could be doing better. And that's tough, right? Because as gym owners, especially in the fitness business, there's a little bit of pride, there's a little bit of ego. And so it's hard to get to a place where we say, hey, you know what? I need help.
You know
But
what?
realizing, yeah, go ahead.
You know what's interesting? I was listening to a podcast recently with John Acuff, and he was talking about borrowing someone else's diploma. And I think this is a really interesting idea, right? Like, you have your own unique experiences. I have my own unique experiences. Our team goes through different continuing education, and we all come together to formulate these best practices, test them. But like, you're fast tracking results because you don't have to go through the thousands and thousands of dollars we spend on all these courses. You're just getting the best practices. Here you go. So that you can fast track your progress and see his success and have the impact you want and grow your business and have a bigger impact in your community overall.
100%. And you know what? Just to add to that, right? So I often have people come up to me in the gym, and I wonder if you have the same experience, gym members who come up to you and say, hey, I think I would like to be a trainer one day. Right. And I look at them and say, well, what's stopping you from doing it now? And they're like, oh, well, I'm not exactly where I want to be yet physically. Da, da, da. I was like, but are you on a path to
Yeah.
get there? They're like, yeah. I said, well, then that makes you somebody who's able to coach somebody else. If you're on a journey, what's stopping you from helping somebody that might be not as far along on that journey as you are? So we all coach and we can all be coached. And I think that was that was probably the number one thing that I learned last year was being coachable and being willing to take advice and to take mentorships and to listen to other people and collaborate with them and get those best practices.
Which is incredible to fast forward a year. And now your nutrition program is absolutely booming. You're bringing on a third coach. I think there's a few things that sets your program apart from many of the other gyms that we've worked with in the past. And the reason why you guys have gone from, $0 in revenue to $15,000+ a month in revenue. And number one, you're bought in. Like, you are so confident with the value that you're providing to people that are coming in. It's not even a question of if you'll sign up for nutrition. It's, hey, this is the option that's best going to support you. And everyone on your staff is on board because you, as the leader of your tribe, are leading the way and on board with the best way to support clients to reach the results.
I appreciate that 100%. You're right. One of the things so when I sat down with my wife, and I missed this part, but it's a really important part because I want other gym owners out there to really feel where I was before I started HSN. I had told my wife that 2022 was a make or break year for me in the fitness industry. That if I found myself in the same position at the end of December last month that I was in 2021, I was going to sell it and find something else to do with my life. And that's scary because I've been doing this now 13 years. So a lot of my professional life has been dedicated to this career path and building this business. And so that's something that's really hard to swallow, that I just was in a position where if I didn't do it this year, I was going to have to start thinking about selling and moving on. And so my wife, she's absolutely amazing and she deserves so much credit. I'm the dreamer. She's the I hold your feet down person. But she said something to me that gave me all the confidence that I needed. And she looked at me and she says, one of the things I love about you is you don't fail in anything that you set your mind 100% to. So she looked at me and says, so if this is going to be the year, go all in. She said that to me. She said, go all in. And I looked at her and I says, that might be a financial all in too. And she says, you're going to make it happen because that is how I got into this business. I started personal training out the back of my car 13 years ago with enough bills in the bank to support a month. So if I didn't make it, I wasn't going to make it. She's like, and you haven't failed yet. She's like, when you bet on you, you win 100% of the time. And that's something that I tell other gym owners now too, is when they're held up on the dollars and cents. Oh, how much is this going to cost? And and I'm already bleeding money. I'm not making enough. And stop. I always say, look, you have to bet on yourself. If you were to go belly up tomorrow, would you rather say I went belly up doing everything I can and taking all the help, advice, and bringing in all the products and services that I could? Or would you rather say I went belly up and I guess I tried, right? So bet on yourself. When you go all in, you're saying, I'm going to make this happen. I'm betting that I'm going to make it happen. And I'm putting my time, my effort, and my money behind it. And it's going to happen. So thanks to my wife. She gave me that kick of the pants that I needed for sure.
Every one of us needs someone that's an encourager. We all have, 80,000 thoughts a day and 80% of them are negative, right? Like we all have self-doubt, but it's like, okay, what do we want to believe in ourselves? What are we wanting for ourselves personally, professionally, and who's there to support us? We all need that support system and that constant reminder of where am I headed and what do I want to do? Today you guys are selling high ticket nutrition coaching and fitness offerings. I would venture to say almost every single one of your new members is getting started with higher accountability, which is super interesting because I don't think even HSN gyms, there are still some gyms that do not sell higher accountability nutrition coaching. I think this is one of the differences that you guys do at your gym than many other gyms do not. And I want to chat about this for a second because you had this turning point so you and your coach came to the HSN Live workshop last year in Nashville.
Two of them, yeah.
Two of them. Okay. So you guys all came to the HSN workshop. And as you left, you're like, I'm not doing anything except high accountability. What happened at the workshop and why did you guys switch gears this way? And ultimately now every single person is signing up with high accountability nutrition.
I came to the realization, Nicole, that going back to that price point, right? We talk about price within ourselves. So let's talk about pricing with our potential clients, right? So the biggest thing that I hear from gym owners and other people in the HSN is that, oh, I'm afraid to charge this rate. That's a lot of money. That would be a lot of money to me. How can I ask somebody to spend that money? And so, we offer, so to make the people who are administering this stomach it a little bit better. And that's what I really think it's there to do. It's not really serving the client. It's actually making the person who's selling it feel better, right? By giving them, okay, well, if I'm not feeling comfortable at a $4.99, maybe I'll do it at a $3.99, and they get that less accountability. But really, at the end of the day, you're just making yourself feel better, and you're giving less to the client. And here's the big takeaways from the HSN workshop, which I can't wait to go back to in July. It's going to be so much fun. The takeaway was, number one, the most important part of this journey for our clients is the accountability and support. And really, no matter what you're doing in your gym right now, whether it's just personal training, whether it's just group fitness, whether it's a hybrid program, whether it's just nutrition coaching or a hybrid of all of those things, the best thing that you can do for your client to make them successful is the accountability portion of the program. So why, to save that client $100, would I give them something that, in my opinion, is going to make them less likely to be successful? And that's the mentality 100%, is I'm not going to save you $100 or $200 just because, and give you less of an offering just to make you or myself feel better. I'm going to give you what you need and charge you a price that's going to make you and me invested in this, so that I give you the attention you deserve and you give me the buy-in that you need so that we can be successful. Because at the end of the day, it is all about that client success. Success breeds success. So if you can get those people from point A to point B, you could get them up on your success wall, you could get that client testimonial. That is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, because those transformations, those client success stories, that is your billboard for your business. That is the proof in your pudding. And that's what's going to keep your doors open and keep people coming into your program, because they're going to see that. So why compromise $100, $200 to make yourself feel better and give somebody less of what they really need? And that's the accountability. Sometimes we get caught up, right, on all right, maybe I'll take a little off the fitness, maybe I'll give you a little PT. Like, how am I going to finagle it? No. They need the accountability portion of it is the most important part of the piece. And that means it's your time. And so you need to charge what you're worth, and they need to buy into that. And then if I could just expand on that a little bit more, because we were talking about that before we came on live, and that is, people often get caught up on price and dealing with pricing objections. I know that a lot of you are going to find this very hard to believe, but I close my free intro sessions at 100%. Nobody leaves my free intro session without opting into one of my programs. And the reason that I do that is because I have learned to really dig into the whys. And I've learned to I use no sales sheet. I have no folders or binders. When people come into my free intro session, it's me and you. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. You're going to tell me about why you're here. We're going to dig deep into the real reason why you're here, because you never tell me the real reason right up front. I'm going to tell you my story. We're going to relate and connect. And then I'm going to show you how where you are now, right? Based on where you want to go, and how I'm going to get you there. And if I do a good enough job connecting with you, showing you where you are right now compared to where you want to be, and then showing you and giving you the confidence that I'm going to help you get there, price is no longer an issue. Nobody gives me a pricing objection. It's just a matter of, are you going to take personal training, semi-private training, or are you going to do the group program? And that's it.
And all of those packages have the nutrition program built in. So they're getting all of like personal training and nutrition, or group and nutrition, or semi-private and nutrition and accountability to see the results that they're looking to accomplish. Before we started, and the free intro is always so funny to me because, and you said, I love going and like getting sold to. Like, I want to go and see how people are doing it. You can always pick up a trick or two. But what's really interesting to me, and this just happened with me, I want to do a TED Talk, and I signed up. I already knew I was going to sign up with this program before I had the sales call with them. I already knew, but the girl was not confident doing the free intro call. It wasn't her that's going to do the program. I knew, like, I had already done my research to figure out I'm going with this, but it was super interesting to watch the sales process and her not being super confident. And imagine you doing the sales process for potential new leads or whoever's doing it. If they're not confident in the value that they're providing, like if you're not confident in your own service, why would I spend $1,500+ on a program if you're not even confident you can help me?
100% confidence is key, and belief is key.
Yep.
So you have to believe in the product that you're selling. One of the things that I ask my nutrition coaches or anybody who becomes point of doing a free intro session, the first thing I ask them is, do you fundamentally believe that the key to success for anybody who walks in the door, regardless of starting point, background, or goal, is nutrition, fitness, accountability, and support? If they say yes, great. Next question. Do you have good fitness, nutrition, and accountability and support, or are you working on that? If you answer yes and yes to those, then I can move on to the rest of my interview process. But if you don't fundamentally believe that, and you fundamentally don't live that, then you are in no position to help anybody else and be confident enough in that to sell at $3,000, $5,000, or $7,000 for a 12-week or a 9-week program. You just can't do it. So you have to genuinely believe in that, and you have to know. And a little quick background before I tell you what I'm going to tell you. In case you guys didn't know, I got into this industry because I lost 100 pounds. I was actually a success story myself. And the people that walk into your gym, I'm not saying it's not depressing. It's not all of them are like this, but a lot of them are. They're broken. They are sad. There is something that is going on that led them to your door. They need help, and they're looking for somebody to help them. And they have all these layers up, right? Because when you're hurt, right? The first thing we do is we throw up these walls and we're very guarded. The free intro session that you have with somebody could be the conversation that changes somebody's life. And I remind myself of that every time I sit down for a free intro session. I care to that point that this conversation may be the one that changes your life because it happened to me. Somebody grabbed me and had this conversation with me 15 years ago. And I look at my life now as everything from that point and everything after. So if you go into a free intro session, whether you've ever been a success story or not, whether you know what it's like to be out of weight, overweight and out of shape or not, it doesn't matter. Can you relate to what that feels like? Can you relate to how this person is looking for not just losing 20 pounds? Everybody, right? Everybody comes in, oh, what are your goals? Well, I'd like to lose 10 pounds, tone up, right? Everybody says that, right? There's a deeper reason why you want to do that, right? Something happened. You don't like the way you look. You don't look like who you see in the mirror, or even worse yet, where I was, you don't look in the mirror anymore, right? That's the people that are coming in that really need our help. And if you can relate to that or understand that, if you could feel that and connect with that person and show them that you're going to help them, number one, you're going to change their life. Number two, you're going to put them on a path. And number three, you are going to be able to sell your services for a value that you know is worth it for yourself too. Now you're changing their life and you're changing your life too. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win.
Right. And I think what's interesting is, so many times when people look at nutrition coaching or adding nutrition programs in general in their gym, they don't think about making the financial piece enough so that the business owner is making money, there's a profit, and you have a little bit room to reinvest in different things. And the coach is making a decent amount of money where they want to stay. And in order for all of that to happen, you have to be charging more. And so many people think of nutrition coaching like, oh, I don't want to charge my group membership rates, but it's more time. It's individualized support with nutrition coaching. It should be more, at least at the beginning, the first 3 months, than your group membership rates.
100%. And think about this, right? So of course you can't do it without a team. And that is so important. A lot of gym owners don't think about that. I used to not think about that, right? Yes, you need to sell the service to support your overhead. That also includes the people who are administering that service being happy enough to say, I have very low turnover at All Fit Orlando. I have coaches who've been with me years because I pay them. My nutrition coaches right now are making almost $100 an hour for their work, for what we're charging. So they're very happy in what they're doing. And then on top of that, the gym has margins and we're making a profit. And we were able to do that with, number one, having the HSN framework and using that as our fulfillment, right? So adding that nutrition piece, that accountability and support, the apps, the holistic approach, all of those things that we're doing, the client resources, all of that stuff, that's my fulfillment side of the piece, right? And then for them, where I'm really getting to that high ticket stuff, which I learned after that, I read a book, by the way. If you guys have never read it, it's The Key to High Ticket Sales by Scott Carpenter. Look it up. The guy I always talk about it like I was in the Matrix and he was Neo who came in and unplugged me. I read that book and the words in that book just spoke to me so much. I had to get on a phone call with the guy and actually met him face to face 2 weeks later. It was awesome. But the things that he said to me made so much sense. And that's kind of the things that I'm sharing with you guys. And that's, you went into this business to change lives, but you also went into this business to change your life. If you're charging more for your products and services, you're getting a better commitment from your clients. You're making more for your staff and you're making more for yourself. So everybody's happy. It's a win-win. And the fulfillment side is fantastic because we have HSN. And then the other thing that we did was we have the group model, but then we also took our personal training and we moved it into a semi-private and overlapping model, which allows our coaches to train 2 to 3 people at a time. So now my personal trainers are making $100 an hour. My nutrition coaches are making $100 an hour, and the gym is making profits. So my coaching staff is happy. They're engaged. They're involved. They're having a great time. My personal trainers are happy. They're engaged. They're having a great time. And my member base is transforming, engaged, and having a good time. And then, like I told you before we came on, I believed that we start with this 12-week high ticket program, right? So we have this 12 weeks, and then traditionally we rotate them into what we call ongoing coaching. And so, okay, great. We got you through the 12 weeks. We got you to point A, point B. Wonderful. What's next, right? So the typical what's next is great. We'd love to get you into some ongoing coaching. It's not as intense. We see you once a month. We'll still message you weekly through the app. And then you're coming to group classes and we'll check in on you once a month to make sure that you're still progressing. What I found is that even with the ongoing coaching, people still slip. There's still a slip, especially if they weren't all the way where they needed to be. So I said at the beginning of the year, I believe fundamentally that there are people who need another 12 weeks and maybe even another 12 weeks at that same high level, especially people with large goals. You're 40, 50, 60, 100-pound weight loss. Those people, it's in 12 weeks is not enough, and they're not ready at 12 weeks. So could I take that same 12 weeks and say to them, let's do another 12? And guess what? They're like, yeah, absolutely. I had a guy this morning, and I just sat down with him, and he's like, I realized that this is my last day. He's like, I don't have to stop coming now, right? I'm like, no. I was like, I like to present 3 buckets, right? Good, better, best, right? So good is just a gym membership, better is gym membership, ongoing coaching, and best is, hey, we're not quite there yet. We've been doing this for the last 12 weeks. Let's keep it going. And he was like, well, obviously, I just want to keep going at the 12 weeks. I can't. And he said to me, I never imagined being in this position after 12 weeks, but now that I'm here, I couldn't imagine not continuing this. I couldn't imagine not having daily goals. I couldn't imagine not checking in with you once a week. I know that I have big goals, and I am not ready to be left on my own. And client-led coaching. Okay, that's your decision. Here we go. So it can be done, and it makes sense. And yes, you make more money, but also how much more successful do you think that guy is going to be in 12 more weeks at the same level of accountability?
I think that's the interesting piece that so many gyms, especially that are not in the HSN program, miss out on. There's a fundamental piece of a successful nutrition program that happens between those in-person visits. And if you don't have that dialed in, you're not going to keep people engaged, because what's going to happen is they're going to fall off around week 2. And then they're going to feel embarrassed because they let you down. And then they're going to cancel their membership, versus having higher touch points, more touch points, weekly check-ins with clients, and even a higher accountability where there's weekly calls. Your clients are going to see more success because there's not enough time for them to fall off without you having an intentional opportunity to connect with them and get them back on track. I mean, even coaches as gym owners, we all fall off. But the thing about being a gym owner is you have a large, very supportive system to help you get back on track, right? You have if your spouse likes to work out, like if I'm not in the gym for a few days, my husband's like, Nicole, go to the gym. Like, you're happier when you're in the gym, like go get a workout in. Or your staff is like, hey, let's get a workout in, or whoever. But likely the members at your gym do not have that level of support that you have. We all fall off track, but if you have a higher touch point, higher accountability program, you're going to be able to help your clients stay on track so much longer. Consistency breeds results, right? So if your clients are consistent, they're going to see better results, which means increased retention, which means increased referrals and increased revenue for you. So it all comes down to you making a greater impact by having systems in place so that you can fulfill the services that you're promising. I cannot tell you how many gym owners that I talk to, at least 4 times a week. I'm on a free call with the gym owner that specifically says this: we sell nutrition, but it's a really lackluster program. We're kind of we have it, we sell it, but it's very informal. We're not doing it. Like, if
they have that level of commitment, how do they expect their members to have that level of commitment?
Really good point, right? Like,
right.
If you want people to see really good results, and I think everyone listening to this podcast, Grow Your Nutrition Business, can be all on the same page. Nutrition is fundamental to see good results. Accountability is even more important. I mean, your nutrition program could be helping clients understand how to add veggies with lunch and dinner every day. But if you aren't keeping them accountable to that, we're missing a piece of the puzzle to help them be successful.
Let me add a little piece to that too. Something else that we do that is super helpful. Remember, I said I close 100%. Now, I want to be honest, that's not 100% at high ticket. That's not 100% at, not everybody is ready to jump in at that level, right? Not everybody that comes into your door is ready to take that leap. But if they took the time to come down and meet with you, they're ready for something. So at the very least, I leave them with this. If they're not willing to jump into our on-ramp program and our 12-week transformation program, I say to them, maybe you're not ready. Maybe you don't believe me yet. Maybe you don't believe in yourself yet. That's fine. But can you commit to working out 3 times a week at the very minimum? You're here. You want to do something. If you do nothing for yourself, at least get into a workout program. Well, they say, yeah, I can do that. Great. Well, here's my gym membership. Come 3 times a week, $189 a month. It's not $5,000. It's $189 a month. Now that seems affordable and manageable, right? They're like, yes, great. And then I go into a 15-minute goal setting session. Fantastic. So we're going to sign you up for the gym. And I open up my goal setting sheets and I go into a nice HSN goal setting session. Let's set some goals for you for the first month. Great. Come 3 times a week. What are you going to do this? Great, great, great. And then I set them goals. And then I make an appointment to meet with them in 4 to 6 weeks. And then in that appointment to come back 4 to 6 weeks later, I pull up that goal sheet and then I let them read what they had set out to do, and I let them tell me how they thought they did. And then we get on the InBody machine, and then we let that show them what they did. And yes, you're going to have clients who are successful and they just rock it, right? There are people that they come in and they're determined. That's great. But how many of those people do you think fell short of those goals that they set for themselves? How many of those people didn't see the results that they thought they would because they didn't add that nutrition piece, or there was no level of accountability for them other than my emails and my text messages that I set up through Grow automations to kind of, skirt them along in their first month. So then that presents a second opportunity to say to them, hey, remember we talked when I first met you about this program that adds extra accountability and support, Do you think that based on what you've seen in the first 4 to 6 weeks, do you see now that perhaps, and now we've got trust with them. Now they've seen what they can do on their own. They've been in my program for 4 to 6 weeks. Now they're like, okay, yes, sign me up. Because I do have a lot of people who leave that first appointment and say, okay, well, I know I just took a gym membership, but if in a month from now, can I still? Yes, you can. And so that's also been hugely successful for us.
I think that's really a good point, right? If people don't sign up for nutrition on day one, let's set an intentional opportunity to revisit the conversation, to see their progress, see where they're at, see if they would benefit from additional accountability, which we all know they would. One of the other interesting things that you said before we started recording was you open up your computer before the actual sale happens and start booking appointments and getting stuff in because you are so confident. Can we just talk about this for a second? Because we actually don't do this, but this is a really good trick that I think not trick, but a really good way of being confident in yourself and let's get your appointment set up for whatever service that you're guiding them to get started on.
Okay, no sales sheet. We're not selling a physical product, right? The worst thing that goes against us in the fitness industry is that we don't sell. Our sale is not an instant gratification, right? You want a car, go down to the car dealership, you buy a car, you leave with the car. Okay, same thing with any other product, right? You buy the product, you want a new TV, you leave with the new TV, right? For what we're selling, not only is it delayed gratification, but it also requires hard work. So it's a tough sale. So sometimes you gotta just nudge people a little bit extra. So I call it, this is my method, I call it the riding the ticket up. How many of you have ever been in a situation or had somebody come to your house or been somewhere where they were talking to you about something and you were like, yeah. And then in your mind, I'm like, I'm going to think about it, but you haven't verbalized it yet. You're like, I'm going to think about it. I'm not ready to go today, but yeah, this is something that I probably will do soon. And they start writing up the order or putting your stuff in the package and you're like, oh crap. I guess this is happening. And you go ahead and continue with the sale because it already happened. They already wrote up the ticket. So what I do in my free intros is after I've, talked about their whys, connected with them, gone through the programs, as soon as I'm done going through the programs, I always say to them, so which one of these do you think will make you the most successful? Right. And that's it. I don't give a broad, it's targeted. Which one of these do you think will make you the most successful? One-on-one, semi-private, group? Well, I think the group sounds like the best place for me. Great. Open up the laptop and I start writing it up. Cool. Great. I'm going to go ahead and set you up with your nutrition appointment. And I start typing. I'm like, are you available tomorrow at 4 p.m.? And then they're like, yeah, I'm available tomorrow at 4 p.m. Great. So I booked the appointments and then got it all tied up. Great. All I need is your card. It's already written up. What are they going to do?
It's done.
But if they have real objections that I did not do a good job covering before we got there, and they are just agreeing because they're trying to slip out the door, then that forces them to fess up because buyers are liars, right? So at that point, I'm writing up the ticket. They've got to tell me they're either in now because they have appointments and things are in motion, or if they have real genuine objections, they've got to share those with me. And then that gives me an opportunity to work and overcome those objections and tie everything up in the end.
I love
Write the
it.
ticket.
Write the
Yeah.
ticket. Oh, so many nuggets here. I think biggest takeaways I could look at from a gym owner standpoint. Number one, you need to be really confident in the service that you're offering. Make it really easy for people to get started. You don't use a free intro form. Although if you are an HSN mentoring client, you're new, I would recommend you have a guide, to use it as a guide, not a checklist, so that you can stay on track. Because if not, especially at the beginning, you might be nervous and then skip a big piece like the transformation of why is this important to you, and then you're missing a piece of the puzzle to help close the sale. So having something that laid out, making it really easy for people to get started. But an interesting thing that you brought up, number one, is if people don't sign up, how intentional are we with another conversation to get them signed up on a second time around? And number two, making sure that like we have a really easy flow to make it super easy and a no-brainer in your mindset around your nutrition coaching program, nutrition, fitness, and accountability. All of us listening to this understand that nutrition is a fundamental piece of the puzzle. And if our clients are going to see the best results possible, they need those three things: nutrition, fitness, and accountability. And who's ever doing the sales process for you needs to be fundamentally in agreement with those things, or else it's not going to work. They're not going to get people signed up for that.
You can't, this is a sale and a program that you can't get anybody committed to if you are not committed to it yourself, number one. And number two, don't take the time to connect with that person and their whys. If you don't put those first, price and other price, my spouse, that's where you get all of those objections from. I truly believe that. Honestly, I'm being spot on honest with you. I don't get a lot of objections. I know that we do a lot of work with overcoming objections, but I truly believe that if you do a good enough job in dealing with the whys, connecting with that person and showing them that you can solve their problem, there's no objection because people are coming to you. There's a pain somewhere. There's a bleeding neck wound somewhere. And so if you could show them that you can fix that and you are the person to do it, then really at the end of the day, it's just not about cost. It's about which program do they think that they're going to have a best fit for to be successful.
I love it. Rob, you have done an absolutely incredible job going from no nutrition program to a killer nutrition program that's making more revenue than your entire gym was, like almost double what your gym was making a year ago just from nutrition. I mean, I cannot imagine what you guys are going to accomplish. Any like goals you want to put out into the universe of what you're looking to do moving into 2023 and beyond?
So obviously, there is growth and expansion for the All Fit brand in the future. As we are a big box gym, functional fitness, unaffiliated, but a hybrid program. We do a lot of personal training. I actually foresee myself opening up some small studios in our area that just focuses on this transformation, that just focuses on nutrition, fitness, and accountability, but more in that, semi-private, private, and small group area. As far as the administration and the fitness portion, and then all of that stuff, I would love to see our nutrition program grow even more exponentially. And I did want to mention before we go, I wanted to make sure that I gave everybody credit for who has helped me along this way. Number one, obviously, Push Press team. Number two, you, of course. Number three, Scott Carpenter and PT Legends. But one thing that we didn't touch on that I just really quick nugget and a group that Nicole brought to me in that workshop was the Lasso team. A business without a sign is a sign of no business, right? You've got to have some marketing out there. Again, marketing three buckets, right? Earned, owned, and paid for, right? And you've got to have all of that working for you at one time, right? And so thanks to the HSN workshop, I had the earned, right? We had those referrals, but I had no owned and I had no paid. And thanks to learning about the story brand and collecting client success stories, now I have owned marketing. And then thanks to the Lasso team, I have paid marketing. And those guys keep my phones ringing, and they are really have been an integral part. What they do over there is fantastic. And so I wanted to give them credit, and of course, make sure that everybody was aware that those three buckets, you got to have them working for you, because it's great to be good at this process. But if you have nobody to sell to,
That's a
right? So
problem.
three buckets, right? Owned, earned, and paid. Have all three of those things going for you at once. These were things that I wasn't doing when I was not meeting my financial expectations as a gym. I do all three of these things now, and I focus. And each month I add more. Because when we talk about profit, you add and contribute more, and that just keeps feeding the beast. So I wanted to give a shout out to those guys as well.
Awesome. Well, I know that you've done such an incredible job taking everyone's knowledge and really building your business and reaching the goals that you have for yourself so that you can ultimately have the impact that you want to have in the Central Florida area. So I'm excited to watch you guys grow and make an even greater impact and help more people have transformations like you did years ago. So thank you for trusting us, and gosh, I can't wait to see you in person soon. We've got the regional event in March and then the
Coming,
annual
can't
event
wait.
in
Yeah.
July.
It's going to be great. And of course, if any of you out there, one of my new things in life is just loving to talk about my success and helping other gym owners. So if any of you guys just ever want to reach out to me, you're not bothering me, email me, shoot me a Facebook message. If you have questions about any of the things that I've done or any of these people that I work with, I'll tell you the real deal facts. I'll share everything with you. Just go for it. And I'm happy to talk to you anytime.
Awesome. We'll put all of your links in the bio in this episode.
Great. Amazing.
I hope you enjoyed that episode with Rob. I'm so confident that he's going to make a huge impact in the Central Florida area, helping people to prevent chronic disease and take control of their health, just like he did. He is walking the walk. He's talking from experience. He is so bought in to how nutrition, fitness, and accountability can truly change someone's life. I want to talk about one thing really quick. When I talk to most gym owners during free calls, and even in different speaking events that I go and talk to gym owners, most gym owners think about their nutrition clients coming from their existing members. Yes, you have people that already love and trust you. They're not seeing the results as fast enough because they've hit a plateau because they're not dialing in their nutrition. They don't have the accountability. Most gym owners that have built successful nutrition coaching programs that have been around for a while tell me that the biggest thing that adding individualized support, habit-based coaching has helped them be able to do is deepen the connection with their members. They're able to support them in a much greater way because they have time and a capacity and an effort to keep them accountable beyond just the fitness side. Yes, of course, your existing members are a great bucket of people of where you can get potential nutrition clients. But what about the people that maybe moved to the other side of town or a different part of your state? Or maybe they decided, I don't think this type of fitness is right for me. Maybe they still already love and trust you, and they would get bought into a nutrition-only membership. Many of the gyms running our program build nutrition-only clients. At our HQ location, many of our clients start as nutrition-only clients, and then we invite them and encourage them to join the gym side. But there's a third bucket of people. And this bucket of people is the best way to grow a nutrition coaching program. In fact, we spend almost 2 entire calls in the training process going over how to nail this piece. The reason why Rob is so successful, the reason why he went from 0 nutrition revenue to over $15,000 a month in nutrition revenue is because he has nailed this piece. Your front end offer, what you guide people to, should be the best option to help them reach the results they're looking for. I think we all can agree that if someone has nutrition, habit-based coaching paired with accountability on top of fitness, they're going to see results exponentially faster. Because nutrition is 80% of the battle, and when you can talk about how sleep and stress and mindset are a part of that too, in a holistic habit-based coaching program, you are able to make such an incredible impact in their lives, truly transform their health and their lives. So if you are thinking, Nicole, this is the year, I am ready, this has been the missing piece for way too long, I am ready to add nutrition, we would absolutely love to help you. Click the link in the show notes so that you can see how it works with HSN Mentoring. You, as a business owner and a nutrition coach, go through the initial training together. Some gym owners who have the capacity and the passion for nutrition will go through the initial training themselves, get a program up and running, and then eventually add a coach to support their role. Once you go through the training, it takes about 30 hours. You launch your program, you start working with individual clients, or maybe you launch with a challenge, and then you build from there. Your story could be the next Rob story. You can make a huge impact in your community. You can add revenue, have members see better results when you add a professional nutrition coaching program. And we would love to help you. So click the link in the show notes, and see how it works. You can book a free call with me. Owners are required to be on the free calls, and we can see if HSN is the right fit for you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, leave us a review so that you don't miss another episode again. And by leaving us a review, you can really help this podcast reach more people. We'll see you back here next week.